Warlocks, because I never played Kata. I played Warlock in TBC, which was boring as fuck, because we had two buttons. One was Shadow Bolt, the other one was Life Tap. Near the end, anyways. And then I never played Wrath, and I never played I played in Wrath, but I played a Ret Paladin in Wrath. And then I never played Cataclysm at all. I played for like the first 2 months and then quit because I had a bunch of like school and shit going on. And I frankly was pretty burnt out with the game. So, anyways, I did not play Warlock in MOP. However, I have seen what's going on with Warlock in MOP. And I think that is obviously that is the best rendition of Warlock, but there was a lot of things that were going on. Like, I would say the best rendition of a Warlock would have been that without the snapshotting bullshit and the trinket major bullshit, obviously, because trinkets were fucking retarded in WAD, or not WAD, MOP. WAD Affliction was okay after they fixed it. The soul swap cost was kind of bullshit, so you were really just like a single target like tunnel, and the problem with that is there's just no variety with that, so that kind of fucking sucked. The 710 and the 710 build, which is kind of what we've got right now, is okay. I would honestly, personally, I would put this above WAD because you have options. You're not just a single target like like dummy, like kill the target dummy and only that, you know. So that's my opinion on 710. Now 725 is gonna be nice, or 715, not 25. 715 is nice because it changes. Oh fuck! I didn't even get the quest credit for it. Is it? Oh, whatever. It's down there. All right. I'll just chill for you for a minute. So, 715 is this really nice cross between you can spec into pure single target dummy, like single target kill that guy, or you can spec into like multi-target beast, right? Because when you play AC, if the target's gonna live long enough, you're only maintaining 2 dots, sometimes only 1, because UA is a higher damage per cast than Siphon Life, right? Like if you look, right? So UA is 37k for me, and Siphon is 32k. UA is a higher damage per cast period. It also has a bunch of bonuses. It has a lot of stuff that affects it in the tree. So UA is like your higher damage per cast. So really you have like 2.5 dots that you're casting on like major multi-targets. So like a lot of your mythic pluses and stuff like that. And then you have the ability now to spec into Malefic Grasp, which means you have all those aspects of the WAD Affliction Warlock where you can just pick a target and kill it, like beat the ever-living shit out of it. But on top of all that, you still have the ability to generate bonus soul shards. You have Soul Effigy generating your shards. You have a lot of other stuff that they're all really strong. So the 715 Warlock, Aft Warlock is pretty damn close to where it should be. I think the major issues is kind of Soul Effigy, and I've been kind of brainstorming about that, and like the major thing that I think would be the best way to go about it, so is if you look at single target right now, Soul Effigy is supposed to be your single target talent. And if you look at Soul Effigy right now, or not right now, but going into 715, you're only maintaining 1 dot on it. You're going to cast Corruption on it if you have AC, and you're going to cast Agony. You're not going to cast Siphon Life on it because 35% of 300k is barely over 100k, so it's going to do 110k over 15 seconds. That one global cooldown, with that one global cooldown, it is actually not worth it to cast Siphon Life on Effigy. So now Effigy becomes this second target that you're maintaining a dot on. And I think the biggest way that they need to go about fixing this is do some sort of dot that lasts for 10, probably 15 seconds. Line it up with your Agony, line it up with your Siphon Life, right? almost lining up with your Agony. It lines up with Agony because I got the helm. But you maybe make it 15 to 18 seconds. Honestly, probably 18. 18 seconds duration, 15-second cooldown, and have it have a chance to generate a shard, or make it just generate a shard every like 4 tickets, or like at the end of the cast or something, you know. It needs to do the shard generation because that's the major thing. Soul Effigy is 2 things. It is single target damage, and it is a bonus shard generator. So if you incorporate all of those into another dot instead, that you can just maintain on the target, that removes all of the hassle of Soul Effigy and removes a lot of the other just general bullshit that goes into trying to set up macros and weak auras and all this other shit to deal with Soul Effigy. So, if you guys got any questions in chat, that'd be good. But that's what I think, is you just like literally almost imagine another Agony. Make it, I would almost say, make it a larger tick time as well. And make it after 4 ticks, it generates a shard. Or 5 ticks. Like, so if we go 18... Oh, shit. That could be... It's gonna get dangerous. Alright. I am gonna die, so we're just gonna sit right here. So if you look at... so if you take an 18-second dot, you split it up into 6 ticks. It's 3-second intervals. You make it take 6 times. After 5 ticks, it generates a shard. And like that could just be the whole thing. And that improves the shard generation. I think that's actually about approximately what Effigy does right now. Is a shard every 15 seconds, like an Effigy on your target. I can't remember. You can math all this out. Like you can balance it with math. Yeah, it's not worth it to cast Siphon Life on Effigy in 715 because you're dealing 100k with that. Basically, the damage on that cast is 100k. And there are better things to spend your global cooldowns if you're not moving. If you're moving, go ahead and cast it. But if you're not moving, it is flat out not worth it. No, it's not at all what Haunt used to be for. So shards are used for Unstable Affliction now, right? And that's our primary dump. And honestly, the system works really well, especially with the 715 changes, where Malefic Grasp makes your dot deal bonus damage, right? It's currently 80% damage. That number is going to stay, is what I've heard. Our overall dots may deal like 2 or 3% less damage, is what I've heard they might do. But, yeah. So, the rotation on 715 is you reapply your dots, you do 2 UAs, and then you drain until those UAs are either done or about to be done, and you have to redot. In fact, it's worth it to... The only dot it's worth it to stop channeling UA to refresh is Agony. Any of your other dots, you let them drop if you need to. So what Haunt used to do is it was just a maintenance buff on the target. That's all it was this target takes bonus damage. It's not that your dots tick faster or anything like that. It's that your dots take, or you deal bonus damage to this target. So the whole idea about a cooldown dot is you need something that you can only apply to one target and that deals bonus damage to that target. It needs to be dealing about what's Effigy dealing for me? I think it's like 12 or 13%. Done to Helia. Effigy deals 13.8%, so it needs to deal about 13% of your total damage. That can go up and down a little bit depending on what the shard generation rate is. So the whole issue with Effigy is, like, it's not a bad concept. It is, you're now applying your dots to 2 targets, right? So you can think of it as, instead of maintaining 3 dots, you're maintaining 6 dots, right? But you have to go through an entire plethora of macros and UI modifications to make it work properly. And it's a pain in the dick. So the whole my whole idea is you replace it with a dot that you can only cast on one target. So you can do one of 2 things. You can either have it have a cooldown, or which kind of makes sense because of the way Effigy works, or you make it have a you make it so that only one target can have the dot on, period, right? That dot needs to generate a shard in some fashion. I think it should be a guaranteed, like, after the end of the dot, it generates a shard. Or you can have a certain tick number as it generates a shard. It could generate a buff, and after that buff ticks over, it generates a shard, something like that. It needs to do some shard guarantee. Nothing RNG, because Affliction, the Agony shard generation is pretty close to not RNG, but anyways. So, and then it needs to deal about 13% of your overall damage. The other thing about making it a dot is that Soul Effigy is not a, Soul Effigy damage on the target is not a dot. Which means the new Malefic Grasp doesn't actually do anything for your Soul Effigy damage. It's kind of awkward, right? Doesn't make much sense. So that's my whole beef with it. I think that would be the best solution to doing that, but I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on the matter. Sit wait and chat before I kill this video. The whole point is you need to find something that replaces Soul Effigy mechanically. Does the exact same thing Soul Effigy does mechanically and numerically, without the bullshit. The bullshit is the fact that you need a plethora of UI changes to make Soul Effigy work, right? That's the major bullshit. For me, I have no issues. I'm tracking 6 dots, like, yeah, in a bit. So, like, for me, if you look at it, I track 6 dots that appear on the middle of my screen. Right here, I'm going to move where, oh, bastard. There we go. Right, so right where my minions are, I have 6 dots that roll right here. For all intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, I track 6 dots on one target, right? The targets, there's actually 2 targets, but for what all I care about is 2 targets. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons that I press to do my dots. Right? So a lot of fucking buttons, first of all. But you do Corruption Effigy if you have AC. You do not otherwise. It's an approximate net 0, which means I'm just responding to a whisper. You can Corruption Effigy without AC, and it's approximately a net 0 because Corruption has a bunch of other modifiers on it, and it does deal more damage, right? But Corruption, if it's about a net 0, it's another dot you have to maintain that will fuck up your rotation. It's one of those things, like, if you're moving, yeah, go ahead and put it on, but otherwise it's really not good. I don't think demons are the way to go, because that's not class themey. Honestly, if I were to do something, another thing to do is kind of bring back the original Reap Soul idea on that tier. Don't call it Reap Soul. Don't replace our Reap Souls because it fucking works beautifully. But the beautiful thing about Reap Souls was the damage was front loaded, or the damage was not front loaded. It was at the end of the dot. So if you have you have a dot, it's got a 15-second cooldown, lasts for 15 seconds. First tick happens at like 4 seconds, then 2 seconds, then 1 second. And then all the damages ends up being front-loaded into the second half of this dot. That makes you have to kind of prep mentally, and there is more of a skill ceiling for that. I think it would be cool. I think it would be challenging. I think a lot of people would fuck it up, is the other issue. So, things you'd be doing is you'd be lining up your UA to tick exactly, so that your UA is ticking and you're draining when that dot starts is flipped to like do damage mode. So, I mean, you're playing the dot spec. Maintaining 2 to 4 dots on a single target seems pretty hard to make interesting. It's not interesting. You got to make the mechanics around those dots interesting. That's where the Malefic Grasp comes in. Like, timing how your Malefic Grasp happens is the entire skill ceiling. Going to be the entire skill ceiling of 715F. Because it's the difference between your UA ticking for like 3, like critting for like 400 and almost 800k. Right? And if you can make sure that all your UAs are in that 800k crit instead of the 400k crit, when UA is already about 25% of your damage, I think that's what it is. Yeah, 27% on my Helio log. It's pretty strong. So, nice. I mean, the PTR's still up. They just have character copies disabled for some stupid reason. I really wish they would say something. But anyways, alright guys, that's my soapbox. I'm going to end this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments on this video, drop them. I'm kind of curious about your thoughts. Let me know what you think. But anyways.